Americans, how would you react if a foreign country invaded your country and said, "We are going to run this country"?
God, please let it be Canada or someone like that.
Yes, please, something like that.
You mean after arresting Trump and removing him from America, I'd be writing them fan mail.
Can you add his admin and supporters in Congress? Actually, let's wipe the system clean and start over.
With replies like these, it's easy to understand why Venezuelans are happy.
What if it was Russia or North Korea?
Apparently, the Venezuelans are happy. And here in the States, people have been celebrating in Miami all morning.
I'm not disappointed in this because we ousted a terrible leader. I'm disappointed because the narrative for decades has been that we want to stop being the world police. And let's not pretend this is entirely altruistic. If that were the case, we'd be pulling up to stop what's happening in Sudan. It's because Trump wants something. He quite literally said in the weeks leading up to this that Venezuela owes us oil and land. Edit. I want to emphasize that I don't support Maduro. I'm happy that the Venezuelans are happy that their dictator was ousted. My criticisms are entirely about how things went down and will continue to go down on the American side.
Because they don't yet know the consequences of what this will mean for the people of Venezuela. This is a US takeover for oil. This will not be good for the common people, as evidenced by what the current US administration has done to its own people.
No shit! Maduro was evil, and what he's done to Venezuela is terrible, and he refused to cede power. We don't need to act like that isn't true to dunk on Trump.
If it was Switzerland or Norway, I would hand them the whole keys. At this point, I'd be ecstatic if someone did the reverse Uno on us. This guy can't lead, and my life is noticeably worse in the year since he's taken office. Get this joker out of here.
Probably not as nice in reality. Sweden and Norway have more of a cultural identity. A lot of Americans were just born here, and TV tells us what we deserve, so we form a lot of unrealistic expectations. Americans are more like generic earthlings than citizens, which is not to say there is homogeneity in the States. Quite the opposite. The US is more like a massive faceless company, where everyone is an individual, so that no one has the power to challenge authority.
My health insurance doubled this month, thanks to our felon-in-chief. I will be standing by with cookies and directions.
Y'all come in with any of that universal health care? What? You don't like paying $700 for a bag of $2 saline in the hospital?
Canada here. We burned down the White House once, this time just the ballroom, and yes, free socialized health and dental care as fits your wealthy nation. How's next Tuesday?
Oh no, don't shackle me with your savage socialist ways. I feel like as an American, I should respond to any mention of socialism or really any government benefit at all, like it's some sort of exorcism. Start dousing them with Budweiser and chanting the Pledge of Allegiance or the lyrics to a Toby Keith song.
If you want a serious answer instead of all these jokes, it would be really bad for everyone in the world, for at least a while. Same with any other superpower. I wouldn't see how it wouldn't result in nuclear war. If it's a legitimate invasion, a country has a way of shutting that whole thing down. Remember the good old days when that was the stupidest line they threw out in a year?
If we didn't want it, we wouldn't have been dressing that way.
I understood that reference, .gif. I don't know, if I was being starved, terrorized, and my family was murdered, I might be happy. But there's more to this than saving people from Maduro. The US government doesn't truly care about the Venezuelans.
If this is anti-Maduro in nature, Venezuela's infrastructure doesn't need to be rebuilt like Iraq or built like Afghanistan. The US can hold elections, transition power, and get the hell out. Less than a year needed, honestly could probably do it in 6 months. If this is about Venezuela's resources, we're probably a very long time away from the US getting out of there. Anyways, I expect to still be talking about it a year from now.
No, because now we're literally just going to steal their oil.
You have summed up my mental dilemma. I think Maduro no longer being ruler of Venezuela is probably a good thing, but it also leaves a lot of potential issues, and the way this was done was definitely not correct.
It is my understanding that the guy has been hollowing out what was left of Venezuela since he got into office 12 years ago. It feels wrong that we went in and arrested him, though I cannot deny there is something simultaneously awe-inspiring and nightmarish about how it was done in a matter of hours, but also like something that should have been done a long time ago. I don't know. I feel extremely conflicted about all of this.
I'd wish them the best luck possible. They're going to need it.
Yeah, there isn't a military on Earth that could conquer Wisconsin, let alone all of America. Way too many armed citizens.
Japan didn't make it through Alaska, and Mexico never made it through Texas. France and Britain tried to spawn camp with native help, and it still didn't work. Only by virtue of an unexplained narrative ASS pull in fiction like Red Dawn or Modern Warfare 2 was anyone even able to think about getting one over on us.
Yeah, y'all never see Red Dawn. USA, USA. We're the greatest country, happiest people in the world.
Another thread for the despondent, hopeless liberals, who dream of a better world whilst their hot coffee and web perusal brings them some false sense of power.
MAGA feels pretty foreign to everything I grew up understanding about America.
You grew up in a fantasy dreamscape? The US has been doing this exact thing since before most of us were born. How do you think we stay on top? By asking nicely?
Really, as an older Gen Z, it feels like the natural and predicted degeneration of a country that has always been a morally bankrupt whole.
Did you not have history class?
America won't even take care of its own. Does anyone seriously think it'll take care of Venezuelans?
I don't think this is the only country that we will do this to. They have plans.
These idiots don't plan. They don't have plans for next week in Venezuela. But I don't doubt that little Marco wants to. Run, Cuba. And I'm sure Trump will arrange to invade something in advance of the next big Epstein revelation.
By the way, this comment section is validating the conservative tinfoil hat conspiracy claims that leftists are traitors that want to see our country taken over by another. Congratulations for alienating yourself from common sense independent voters and potentially handing MAGA the White House in 2028 because you refused to learn from 2024.
Worked out well enough for Native Americans, I guess.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really helps. Subscribe for more and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one.